Hello, Sandy here at the Pleasant Valley pool, where I did commit to being out of the office more often. It is a beautiful sunny day, so what better day than today to be out here at the job. So let's see the progress. A lot has happened since I was here in person last, although I have also been following along on the lives and the photos each day. So let's see who's here and if they can give us an update of our status. Oh look, conveniently placed right here in hearing distance, there's Kaylee. Kaylee,
Yes.
tell me what we are working on today.
We are currently setting waterfall tiers and building it up so we can build more tiers. If you look over there, I don't know if you can kind of see, we've set 2 today. And then where my cinder block is, I'm about to raise it up with another row of brick. That way there's more distance in between each fall. And yeah, that's what I'm doing. So I'm about to go make another mix.
Okay, so when I was here last time in person, you guys were wheeling concrete and you were forming this block wall. So the block wall, I remember the discussion being between you and Jesse, well, are we going to have 2 rows or 3 rows? How many rows did we end up with?
I think we ended up going 3 more.
No, I thought it was going to be 3 total. Like you were on the,
here?
remember we were filling in the trench over on the bottom and you were like, yeah, I don't know if it'll be like 2 or 3.
We went 3.
3
Yeah.
plus the rest of the waterfall.
Plus what was in the ground too, wherever the trench started. So we went 3 on top of whatever our first day of. Although this side obviously went up a lot more than 3, but
Okay, so take me like on a tour of like, tell me what's going to be where, because right now it's just a big blob of concrete.
okay. So right here, it's kind of half formed for steps. So these are going to be the steps up to the slide. And as soon as we figure out exactly where the seat of the slide is, where you're going to sit down and go, then we'll work our way back with the steps. So right now it's kind of just all bulked for now. This is the plumbing for the slide. And then,
Oh, let me take a just quick look at our slide. That looks super smooth. Yeah, that'll be, actually that's huge.
yeah,
From
it's a
standing
big
up
slide.
here, that is a pretty big slide, and I like that big boulder at the bottom.
Yeah,
So,
just carved that
fun
today.
story. Sometimes our slides get going so quickly that you definitely want a bigger bowl at the bottom. So, you know, small children land in the pool, not outside of it.
And then right here, we're gonna have a old pump. I don't know what exactly they're called. You know what I'm talking about? The red ones with the levers on them.
A pump?
The farm pumps or whatever.
Yeah.
It's gonna be right here, and that's what's gonna spill water onto this tier to go in. We're gonna kind of make a little walkway with these stones because we can. That's a jumping stone, and then the one furthest over there is a jumping stone. So this we're gonna kind of turn into a walkway. There's gonna be buckets of water spilling onto these waterfall tiers once we set them. Kind of carved boulders. So we're going for the more farm-looking theme with the pump and the bucket spilling water instead of just plumbing that you can see. We're trying to disguise it a little bit more. So
Are they going to be real buckets or are they going to be concrete buckets?
I don't know. We haven't gotten that far yet. I would think real buckets to break up the concrete. That way it's like everything's not made out of concrete. Like there's more. What's the word I'm looking for?
Variety,
Yeah.
textures.
Yeah.
So Al, buckets. Have we thought concrete buckets, real buckets?
I have rubber feed buckets so that they can handle the part of the farm. Like she's even got one in her barn that she feeds her horses with. So I bought a couple of those, and I've got fittings I'm going to put in the bottom of them, and they'll just have a little lip, so it'll spill right out that lip. So it should be perfect.
Very cool.
They're not as snazzy as a nice colorful bucket, but they're functionally work really well.
Okay. So tell me about the weather. Have we been watching the forecast? Is it supposed to be warm and sunny, and are we getting to freezing temperatures anymore?
Well, we were close this morning. It was 34 this morning when I left, but it's warming up. It's supposedly not supposed to freeze anymore, and we're working away. Hopes it doesn't, but we still have the heat blankets out here. Per chance we need to throw them over something we've worked on.
So we might have our friends over at the Steampunk Moose checking in. So any messages for our friends at the Steampunk Moose?
I will be seeing them in a day or so to work on that spa, so I'll see you really soon.
Awesome. So like epoxies and things, are those what's affected by freezing temperatures? And what happens if you try to force, you know,
Well,
sometimes forcing something, like we could want to be in a hurry, but what happens if you do that on a product that...
It's just almost impossible to fix. And epoxies definitely take more time with the cold, but all of the processes need warm weather, and unfortunately it hasn't been here yet, but it's coming now. And one day of dry weather and warm weather is not enough. So, and ambient temperature, we really need 45 and above to do most anything.
Okay, very cool. So what are you working on today?
I am getting the spa ready to plaster it. We'll do a Marsite plaster finish on, and then over that, after we acid wash, we then do the eco finish layer.
Okay. So when you're working with concrete, I notice you have rubber gloves on, but does the concrete itself get warm?
It can. You won't notice it so much in a basic mix like this, unless you have a big quantity of it. If you put a big quantity together, you can definitely feel the heat on the inside. But when you're working in small layers, it probably warms up, but you can't tell. It's not enough to be able to tell.
So what does warm it up? And when it's really cold outside and you order a truck, do they add something to it to deal with cold?
Two things. What makes it warm is there's a chemical process going on inside it as it's curing. And as it's releasing the water inside, there's a chemical reaction based on the mix, but that's where the heat comes from, is the chemical process, number one. Number two, in the wintertime or when it's cold, typically a concrete truck is dispatched. They use, number one, hot water in the mix instead of cold water. So inherently, the mud is already warmer, and the warmth is what activates it to start to cure. The other thing is there's additives you can do. Calcium chloride is a good, and it's a salt additive. And what that does is it speeds up the process, and it really gets that concrete warm on the inside. The downside to that is you weaken the concrete slightly, and you have less time to work with it if there's too much calcium in there, and you change the color. So if you're pouring a driveway or doing something that's color specific, you should not do one day with calcium chloride and one day without if you're pouring over a couple days, because they will be different colors. And you can really tell that when a driveway is poured in the fall or in the spring, it tends to be a darker color than a midsummer pour. It hydrates quicker, that moisture comes out, and the concrete tends to be more white. In the summertime, it tends to be more gray in the spring and the fall.
Okay, so tell me about the actual plumbing here in a spa. I don't know if people know what it looks like, but to me it looks like we have a spa and then we have like a raw pipe, and then it looks like there's something on those. So what are all these pieces?
So there's a loop in here. The plumbing goes in a complete circle, two separate sets of pipe. One for air.
By the way, this is why the phone is bumping.
Hi, Levi. That's Levi. There's a double loop of pipe, a 2-inch pipe and an 1.5-inch pipe, and they go to each of these fittings that stick out. A 2.5-inch pipe sticks out. That's your water and air back into the spa, the return to the spa. So when we shoot it, we just have them literally a pipe big enough so it sticks out, so that we can get what we need. And when we go to prep to do the plaster, we have to cut those and add a collar like this. And this collar does two things. It allows our fitting to set flush on the end, but more importantly, it becomes a water stop. As you plaster around this, you're now getting more surface area on this fitting to prevent water from sneaking between the concrete and the plastic. And what we tend to do, now we don't always use these, it just depends on the situation, but what we always do is we make sure that we use a water stop in there as well before we plaster this to the final. So keep it sealed.
Okay, looks like I'm live. I did just get a phone call from my pal Mark Curtis. Anyway, he might need something, so I'll sign off for now, and maybe I'll come back in a few minutes depending on depending on what's what. Thank you.
Perfect.
Thanks for that.